In episode 1, we exposed how Antigua blocked the Alfa Nero before any sanctions were ever announced. Now in episode 2, we're following the money. $122,000 per month, a rushed law, a $40 million sale, nearly $10 million unaccounted for, and conflicting stories from the Prime Minister and his wife. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Caribbean Spot. Today, episode 2, Follow the Money, the $10 million mystery and monthly costs exposed. Okay guys, so let's recap quickly. In episode 1, we broke down how the Alfa Nero was blocked from leaving Antigua's waters in early 2022, even though it wasn't under sanctions at the time. It wasn't until August 2022 that the U.S. officially sanctioned its alleged owner, Andre Guerrilla, and designated the Alfa Nero as blocked property. That's when the excuses stopped and the spending started. From August 2022 up until the yacht was auctioned sometime after March 2023, Antigua's government reportedly paid $122,000 per month. That is over 329,000 EC dollars to maintain the Alfa Nero. And the figures can be a little bit more or a little bit less, but this is the average ballpoint, right? That adds up to approximately 1.1 million US dollars, or just about 3 million EC dollars of public money. According to the public disclosures from Gaston Browne's administration, that money covered fuel, maintenance, cleaning, system upkeep, you name it. But here's where it gets shady. In most Caribbean countries, when a vessel is abandoned or sitting without proper claim, the government either fines the owner or moves swiftly to auction it off. The cost of upkeep is not something taxpayers absorb. Certainly not for a foreign luxury yacht. But Antigua. Antigua decided to protect it, baby it, feed it. They pampered that yacht like it was a national treasure, or more like a cash cow in waiting. This would be like someone leaving a Bentley in your driveway, or Mercedes-Benz, whatever it is, right? And instead of reporting it, you started changing the oil, fueling it up, waxing the hood, and paying a crew to watch it for months, while claiming you don't know who owns it. So the question is, was the government just being generous, or were they strategically preserving a cash cow? I want to say it again. Was this government just being generous, or were they strategically preserving a cash cow? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Because when you spend $122,000 every month on a yacht that doesn't belong to you, it's either madness or a calculated move to cash in later. My question is, who got paid to maintain this yacht? Were the contracts transparent? Were politically connected insiders involved? These are questions the public still hasn't received answers to. Well, now we have the law that changed everything. This is like madness. I've never seen anything like this. Now here's where things get even more interesting, right? In March 2023, more than a year after the yacht was blocked, the Antiguan government passed the Port Authority Amendment Act. This law gave them the power to seize and sell abandoned vessels, including the Alfa Nero. But let's be clear, this law came after the government had already been holding the yacht hostage. Oh, did I add that in there? It seemed like it, right? So we have to ask, did they pass the law to justify what they were already doing? Because from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like the law was guiding the action. The law was not guiding the action. It looks like the action dictated the law, right? Follow along. And if you followed local reports, you'll remember there was a serious political push to rush this bill through Parliament. My question is, why? Some Antiguans questioned the urgency. Why now? Why the pressure? Who stood to benefit? That's a really good question, right? Who stood to benefit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The public was told it was about cleaning up the harbor and addressing abandoned vessels, but conveniently, this just so happened to legalize the government's year-long hold on a $120 million yacht. That's not just convenient, that's calculated. Again, it is not convenient, it is calculated. And while the government rushed this law through Parliament under the banner of targeting abandoned vessels, we have to ask a bigger question. How many other vessels were seized under this new law? How many were maintained by the government the way they maintained the Alfa Nero? How much did those vessels cost the people? And how much did the government make from them, if any at all? Or was this really about one yacht? Give me your thought. Put your thoughts in the comments below right now. Answer some of these questions. Let's come up with our own theories right here. Because if Alfa Nero is the only vessel they move this aggressively for, then it tells us everything we need to know. This law wasn't about cleaning up the harbor. It was about legitimizing a power move for one luxury asset worth millions that the government seemed desperate to control. And let me make this clear. This wasn't policy. This was a precision heist dressed in legislation. In 2023, the Alfa Nero was auctioned off for $40 million US. That's far below the yacht's estimated $120 million market value. But the Antiguan government claimed it was necessary due to mounting maintenance costs. I mean, really? Necessary. That was the word used, right? Necessary. No one asked you to stop the yacht from leaving. That was Gaston's own decision. And then, as if there were a divine calling, the government willingly spent taxpayers' money to maintain it. It's almost like one morning they looked out at the harbor, saw a super yacht sitting pretty, and said, "Ah, yes, our $1 million blessing has arrived." You paid $0 to get it. So spending a few thousands each month to keep it gleaming for your grand payday must have seemed like a fair trade, right? And even though it sold for way less than it was worth, let's be real, you still made millions of something you didn't own and didn't pay for. Prime Minister Gaston Browne claims that $29 million out of the $40 million went toward national debt. Did it? The remaining $11 million, supposedly, spent on yacht-related expenses, including maintenance and commissions. This is laughable, right? $11 million in expenses for a stationary yacht that wasn't even traveling. That doesn't sound like upkeep. That sounds like someone's pocket was getting fat. Fat. And here's what the public deserves to know. Who got the contracts? Were those contracts awarded through an open process? Or were they handed off quietly to companies with ties to politicians? We know names like West Indies Oil Co. and Fancy Bridge Limited were connected to the case. But what other firms were involved? And more importantly, which politicians were they connected to? Was this one of those schemes where a government official gives a contract to a company they own or to a friend's company, right? And that company sends in inflated invoices, then splits the money behind the scenes? Maybe. Because 11 million 11 million for maintenance and commissions on a yacht that never moved is just unbelievable. That doesn't add up. The lack of an itemized breakdown only adds to public suspicion and raises serious questions about transparency, accountability, and truth. Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for watching. If you're enjoying this content and want to see more, do me a huge Caribbean favor. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below. Your support helps me grow this channel and build a strong Caribbean community where we can have real conversations. Let's keep this momentum going. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Now back to my commentary. This isn't just about mismanagement. This could be corruption. So let's take a step further because it gets worse. Not only has the public never seen a full breakdown of the 11 million in expenses, now we're learning that some of the key documents tied to the Alfa Nero sale are reportedly missing. That's right. Legal filings confirm that critical paperwork, sale contracts, payment records, financial trails simply can't be found. And yet, we're supposed to believe that this was a clean and transparent process. So how does a $40 million public sale happen without a complete paper trail? This isn't just poor record keeping. It smells like a cover-up. International attorneys and Antigua's opposition are now demanding answers. And they're not alone. Because based on what's missing, they believe up to $10 million may be completely unaccounted for. And based on our estimated timeline, from the start of monthly payments in August 2022 to the sale sometime after March 2023, the figure might not just be speculation, it might be accurate. That $122,000 a month for about 9 months adds up to roughly 1.1 million US dollars, or around 3 million EC. So here's my question. Where did the rest of the 11 million go? Where did it go? That's nearly 25% of the entire sale value vanished, gone. No receipts, no explanation. And if you're thinking that's a bold accusation, remember this. Where there are no records, there's usually something someone doesn't want found. And now, with subpoenas issued in both the US and the Caribbean courts for companies like Fancy Bridge Limited and West Indies Oil Co., we may finally learn who got paid and who they were connected to. Here's where the public gets even more confused. On July 5th, 2024, Prime Minister Gaston Browne said the funds from the Alfa Nero sale were being considered for a resort development. Well, just 3 days later, on July 8th, Maria Brown, which is his wife, and a sitting cabinet minister stated the funds had already, keyword already, gone toward paying off national debt. So which is it? Did the money go to a resort, or was it used to pay debt? Because let's be honest, this isn't just a minor mix-up. It's a contradiction between the Prime Minister and his own cabinet minister, who happens to be his wife. This isn't hearsay. These are public statements made days apart, with completely different claims about millions of dollars in public funds. Liars have short memories, but the people don't. You're the head of government. She's a cabinet minister, and neither of you could get your story straight. You can't be considering using the money on Friday and then have it already gone by Monday. Maria's statement essentially called Gaston a liar, live and direct. Live and direct. So now, we the people want more than song bites. We want documentation. We want to see the receipts, an itemized breakdown, not one you're going to fabricate, of when and where every dollar was spent, which institutions were paid, on what dates, who signed off. Because you can't claim transparency while telling two completely different stories to the people. Either someone's lying or someone's covering up the truth. And let's not forget, Gaston Browne isn't just the Prime Minister. He's also the Minister of Finance. That is dangerous. So when we ask who approved this, it's not a mystery. It's a concentration of power. The same man making the decisions was the one signing off on the checks. No oversight, no accountability, just one man with full control over millions of dollars in public money. National priorities. Yacht over people. While millions were being poured into pampering a luxury yacht for nearly a year, I am certain, well, not certain, but I can infer that public workers were waiting on probably their paychecks, right? Probably back pay. Hospitals were short of equipment and essentials, and schools were underfunded and stretched thin. And the government still found $122 a month, not for nurses, not for teachers, not for the vulnerable, but to baby a billionaire's abandoned boat. Isn't that amazing? Not really. You mean to tell me Antigua had the money to fuel, clean, and guard a yacht, but not to properly fund its healthcare system? They consider this vessel more valuable than their human resource. The question is, why? Why have someone in power who cares not for the people, who cares not for those who elected him to office, but more for the billionaire's yacht? This wasn't governance. This was negligence. This wasn't patriotism. This was prioritizing a vessel over a nation. How does that serve the people of Antigua and Barbuda? How does that build trust? Because while politicians were eyeing their payday, the people were left struggling. And let's be clear, Having a careless, wasteful leader serving as Minister of Finance is dangerous. Because if this is how Gaston Browne handles a yacht, imagine how he's handling the entire country. This one scandal has shown us more than they intended. The Alfa Nero wasn't just a political play. It was a warning sign. The cards have been boldly played, and now we know exactly who's sitting at the top. The Minister of Wasteful Finance. To my brothers and sisters in Antigua and Barbuda, public funds should not pay for personal legal defense. Let's make one thing clear. If Gaston Browne, Maria Brown, or anyone else in power is being personally sued over this scandal, the people of Antigua and Barbuda should not be footing the bill. Should not be footing the bill. You don't get to mishandle public funds, Mr. Wasteful Finance Man. You don't get to mismanage public money, then turn around and use even more to defend yourself. The same people who were left in the dark must not be left with the invoice. The same people who were left in the dark must not be left with the invoice. You made the decisions, you signed the contracts, you should pay for your own defense. And here's my final thoughts on this whole situation. So here we are. After millions spent, a yacht sold, and documents gone missing, the people still have no answers. Where's the full paper trail? Where are the receipts? Who really got paid? And why hasn't the public seen a single audit of this $40 million sale? If this was a clean deal, why are records missing? If the spending was legitimate, why can the people see where their money went? You don't need to hide the truth unless the truth exposes you. This wasn't just a questionable transaction. It was a public betrayal cloaked in silence, secrecy, and spin. The Alfa Nero may be gone, but the stench of corruption still lingers. This is no longer about a yacht. It's about whether the people of Antigua and Barbuda still control their own country. In episode 3, we follow the subpoenas and we name the people now under international scrutiny. Because this time, it's not just about exposure, it's about justice. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, and share if you believe public money deserves public answers. Tag someone who's still waiting for the receipt. Gaston Browne, this is my message to you. Mark chapter 8, verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the world and lose his soul? And that's a problem today. We're chasing after vanity. We're chasing after material gains. We want to live the top life. You know what I mean? Yeah. But losing we soul in the process. Not we, you know? Brother, come clean. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, leave your thoughts in the comments below and see you on the next one. Bye.